already. They've already dropped, and we're in the midst of a game. Guys, we got a shifty, and then we also have a tilted.
Yeah, indeed we do. Hey, High Distortion and AV dropped tilted last game. It went well for them. They're feeling confident, and why wouldn't they be? You have High Distortion on your team, who on the bottom right of your screen is popping off right now. 3 kills already for HD. Sorry, make that actually 7 kills as we joined a little bit late, as High Distortion continues to impress in this tournament.
That's the thing, though. He has to go off because Avxry just died. Avxry is eliminated. He is gone. So now it's all on High Distortion. This is why I talk about, well, I like the tilted plays. It's high risk. It's high reward, right? You're going to have those opportunities where you can really have quite a bit of kills. But I feel like versus this FaZe team, it's about consistency. It's about staying alive. And so that's why I was a little bit worried heading coming into this game. I think you got to change the strategy up. I know what they're used to, and I'm not hating on it by any means. Their aggressive play, High Distortion, unbelievable player, along with Avxry, of course. He's got 7 kills, and he's still alive. He's going to have to 1v4 for the rest of the game. But to me, that's the issue. When a lot of players, a lot of teams come up against FaZe, they don't really change up their strategies to face off against them, because for them, it's about consistency. And it's hard to counter consistency when you do these high-risk, high-reward plays, because a majority of the time, it doesn't work out for you. Tilted Towers, it's a hard place to strategize around.
Yep, that's so true. And look, High Distortion, we hinted at it earlier, Mr. Solo Squads himself. If you're a fan of High Distortion, I have friends that back home, and myself, I love to watch High Distortion stream. He plays solo squads more than I think any top player, and he has so much experience in this exact scenario. So in my opinion, if you're HD, you just want to survive, stay alive, make it to late game. You have a 7-kill lead right now. Sorry, now it's a 5-kill lead, as Tfue just picked up 2. But you're in a pretty good spot here. Now you can see HD just playing this really smart, really cautious. If I had my money on anyone in a solo squad scenario, it'd be HD.
And something I just want to point out, maybe just bringing it back a little bit with Tfue. Okay, one of the things that he is well known with doing is obviously his pushes. When his pushes, where before he would build the ramp and then the wall. But something that has developed, at least in terms of competitive Fortnite, whenever it comes to building the push, it's got even more complex. Whenever you have the lower position and you're pushing up for the higher position, what they do now is they do ramp, wall, floor, ramp, wall, floor to give it that kind of triple protection from anybody who's going to be below him. Of course, though, if you're pushing with somebody on the high, still the ramp and the wall is the way to go. But who just dropped here?
Oh my God.
High Distortion.
What High Distortion just did,
yeah.
He almost dropped, but what he just did on screen is unbelievable. Someone please clip that at some point, because High Distortion in a 1 versus 4 just obliterated the other team, and he's not done yet. Can he connect for the last kill? Yes, he does. It's actually another squad that's going to come through. So HD is going off right now in a 1 versus 8 against 2 different squads. He gets high ground, and look at the advantage that he has as a result. HD is playing out of his mind.
High Distortion, man. Unbelievable play, like you just said. 11 kills, now 12 overall. Back-to-back squads. He has no mats, and that can become a little bit worrisome. But when you got a shot like this guy, the intuition like this guy, it's going to be incredibly difficult. Welcome for about a quarter of a second. Another player in his midst. 14 frags. And there are still, nearly half the lobby is still alive. He has 14. He is on pace for about 30 kills, boy.
Which, by the way, would be a
by
record.
Himself.
That'd be a solo record almost, wouldn't it be?
It would be. Well, at least in Friday Fortnite, it would be.
Friday Fortnite. What is the solo record, actually? I think it's like 20.
It might be
I think
23.
Tfue has it, actually.
It might.
No, it's not 23. It's more than, I think it's 27 or 28, maybe.
Well, I mean, in Friday Fortnite, I think.
No, Friday Fortnite is 23.
Yeah.
That's Ninja. But,
okay.
I mean, I'm talking about overall. I mean, this guy is on pace. And with this many engagements plus by himself, he could be a huge record holder here. And High Distortion is proving himself over. And what a time to do it with your teammate down. And going against FaZe of all teams, if he can single-handedly hold this up, you're talking about a legendary performance.
Unbelievable gameplay. High Distortion, welcome to Keemstar's Friday Fortnite. You are absolutely killing it right now with 14 kills and 44 people still alive in the game. HD is popping off.
And you want to talk about a scenario where a team is facing off against FaZe, being in a 1v2 and having to make a comeback. Sounds pretty familiar. Actually, I think back to week 2, we actually saw someone do this exact same play.
Yep.
It was Ninja. He was down. His teammate King Richard died early, and he made a massive comeback with, like I said, 23 eliminations. That's what we're kind of seeing, a similar pace right now for High Distortion. Granted, it's not as much of a deficit, but 14 kills coming out of Tilted. A lot of those solo. This is unbelievable play. This is unprecedented, and this is what's an awesome moment that we get to see. It was such a highly awaited time to see High Distortion, like you said there, Keemstar's Friday Fortnite tournaments, and he's absolutely coming out to play. Of course, on the opposite, we got to give credit to FaZe. I believe we just saw a nice little, I think that was a C4 clutch, kind of throws it over the wall, does Tfue, comes back around and kind of pinches his own C4 along with the excess fire to find that elimination. Now up to 5, 9 in total for FaZe throughout this game. And like I said, High Distortion, he's got more than the two combined, but like I said, the deficit obviously coming into play. We'll see if he can continue to go on with this dominance.
Yep. High Distortion right now, and this is where you see a little bit of a weakness in Tilted. Is again, we talked about it often, not to beat a dead horse, but the rotation after Tilted. It's been about 3-4 minutes now. HD has not seen one person. He's trying to spot the people that are coming out of Pleasant Park, maybe Anarchy Acres, but Tfue and Cloakzy are coming back kill by kill. They were down by about 5 a moment ago, now only down by 2, but there you go. Finally, HD going to spot one in Loot Lake. Tfue and Cloakzy not in sight, so HD should be able to clean this kill up, but he's going to have a challenge in front of him as he's fighting yet another squad.
Yeah, even at this point, as actually I'll get onto that point in just a second. You see High Distortion in a great battle here. He's got to be careful. Still, maxed out shield, maxed out health. He's going to be looking good, trying to edit as much as he possibly can, but going through a lot of resources. He was kind of whiffing just a little bit, trying to get this high ground as he manages to do. But this team is so vicious. In fact, they're shooting out his builds, and this is going to showcase his skills overall as he does get not. No, he doesn't get the knock. He just about got it, but this team is definitely putting up a fight. Finally, one knock in his possession. The great edit to get out of there to once again get the high ground. His mats are dwindling. He's got to finish up this team fight soon, or else he is going to be out of mats and be forced to take the low ground. Luckily, that player drops off, and I believe we do see another snipe coming in from Cloakzy from 232 meters. Shout out to him. That's a good shot. But, man, if High Distortion can make it out of here, he's going to pick up at least 4 more kills.
Yep. Cloakzy and Tfue are actually coming in for the kill, the steals here on High Distortion. But, wow, how has High Distortion been alive this long? What a performance from him. He downs one. Going to pick up the earlier kill. He's going to get this kill to his right now as well. And High Distortion somehow, some way, has barely even taken any damage. Can he finish it? Yes, he does. HD wipes yet another squad. The squad killer himself, officially deemed as such. HD is popping off with 18 kills to his name right now.
He took 30 damage.
The entire fight.
In the entirety of that last team fight. Oh, you can't even call it a team fight, right? A 1v4 fight. That is absolutely. Look at this ramp. Like, let's look at the Taj Mahal that was just built there for a moment as we switch to Tfue here. But on High Distortion, right? The amount of the plays that he makes is unreal. And the ability for him to not take damage. I mean, there's a lot of guys who can make plays similar to that by taking lots of damage. They take a med kit, they take some shields. But to only take 30 damage, that is unbelievable. You want to talk about the player awareness that he has. All the credit to High Distortion. He is living up to the hype and more, like probably like times a million by that point.
At this point, I don't know how many kills Avxry had, but at this point, they still have a 2-kill. Or excuse me, how many kills?
Avxry had 1 kill.
Avxry had 1 kill,
wow.
So they still have a 3-kill lead. A 3-kill lead. He has 18 kills by himself. Plenty of engagements still to remain. We see a total of 18 engagements. He is well on par to take over the Friday Fortnite championship over Ninja, who had 23, but already another knock. And that's just a knock, which means there's more players still remaining.
And as the zone starts to get smaller, I always like to call it like the final 30. Well, we are down to like 17 engagements at this point. The amount of engagements that you're going to find out of these like initial kind of ending 30 is actually insane because of how much smaller the zone gets. Because once the zone gets smaller, you have a lot more of an opportunity to take down those players as you're in a smaller playing zone. So this is a big opportunity where we could see High Distortion. Well, he's at 19 right now. By the way, Tfue's at 12. But as he's at 19, he can absolutely get to 25, 26, around that range with the amount of players he's going to have the opportunity to spot.
Yep, and HD right now fighting yet another team by himself. Here's going to tag up Carbide. Carbide not even able to get a shot off as HG is just going to completely shut him down in that fight. Make that 20 kills for High Distortion as he is now 3 kills away from breaking the Fortnite Friday record held by Ninja when he had that miraculous performance with King Richard by himself in week number 2.
I just want to point out, too, High Distortion has his primary weapon. He has a purple scar, right? He has the pump shotgun as well, plus the hunting rifle. But he's opted to use that purple submachine gun, which is obviously in the new meta now since the shotguns were, in fact, nerfed.
Yeah.
And it just comes to show you can absolutely shred. The damage per second on that, I believe, is over 200, just a hair over 200 damage per second. So you're talking about massive damage. Now, of course, even showing with the scar usage, as we know, that's a powerful weapon in itself. Ooh. But there he is, pulls out the submachine gun once again to get the final kill, and he's going to go ahead and thirst him to get it. That's 21. That is 21. He's 2 kills off of Ninja's record.
Well, the one thing that's really nice is he actually happens to be in another fight as well. We'll get to that point here in just a moment because now it's about the Bills. It's about how many kills can he find, taking some damage, 75 health, no shields to his name, but he's got one in his back pocket, putting down the traps, putting down the walls, and needing to go for the recovery, pulls out the edit, and is trying to grab that high ground as he can finally rest assured for a few moments. High Distortion, known for these fast-paced gameplay, finally starts to slow it down for a moment, getting back to that 100 shields as he can start to try and figure out where these players are. Of course, reloading the TAC SMG, like you just said, Taylor, it's been his primary weapon of choice when it comes down to these fights, but he still has the high ground. Players are roaming around where he could be. He happens to be right on top of you. High Distortion making his play, making himself known in the Fortnite community as one of the best players in the entire world, up to 21 kills, now to 22, and it's going to be 23 with his final elimination, and as the players are knocked down, there is still a teammate around here, and he happens to be right.
He broke it. He got it.
There is 24 kills.
High Distortion makes Friday Fortnite history with 24 kills, beating Ninja's previous record of 23.
Insane.
High Distortion, welcome to Friday Fortnite. You have bursted onto this scene. A lot of people knew of his skill before this, but this is the first time he's had the stage to prove his skill and prove his ability. High Distortion is an absolute monster.
And not to mention,
There's two frags left. There's two frags left in this game.
Frags left, and does he spot one of them? I just wanted to point out, too, Tfu's sitting at 16 kills himself. They only have a 1-kill lead. Literally a 1-kill lead. High Distortion has single-handedly held these players off. Goes through the Raptor dance, which, by the way, is one of the best. And you see a cry come out from, I believe that was Cloaksy. But you got to say, he knows. I mean, you talk about a performance, and he could still get even more. He's already broke Friday Fortnite history, and now he's looking to do even more with 2 frags still remaining. You talk about a performance. High Distortion comes through big with Friday Fortnite, and huge in a big way. Even if they lose this game going into the second game, which, who knows, I'm not counting them out by any means. You talk about a performance that's going to last at least a couple of Friday Fortnites.
Oh, absolutely. But the thing is, right, there's 1 kill difference. There are 2 more engagements left. This is a situation where we can obviously highlight what we've seen from High Distortion, but if he wants to do this, he can close out this game. One thing that was nice about Ninja's play is that he forced the map 3 off of a tie. We could also see the exact same thing here, a teammate, rather, going out early, being tilted in 1v4 squads. That's what Ninja did. Exactly. That's what's happening in High Distortion as well. In this exact same scenario, I believe, as Cloaksy finds that kill, that should be it, I believe. That should be pretty much all she wrote. While High Distortion pulls off one of the most amazing games in Friday Fortnite history, the solo record is smashed, and along with that, it also could be his chances of making into the winners, or rather, the grand finals.
Absolutely. $7,000, like we keep talking about, is bare minimum if you make it into the grand finals. I mean, that is a huge chunk of change, and of course, playing it out for $10,000 in the end as we see the final kill on your screen. And I believe that player actually died from fall damage or didn't stick the landing, unfortunately. But even so, with that being said, that's okay. High Distortion, what a performance, came in, 24 kills. The overall score, I believe, is going to be a 27-25, a 2-kill difference. Literally, you're talking about, first off, you're going against one of the most successful teams in Friday Fortnite, and you pose that big of a kill lead. Absolute phenomenal work. High Distortion, I'm so happy he's in our tournaments now.
I also want to point out, we talked about High Distortion getting the singles record.
Yeah.
The overall duos, or the overall squad record, was Nick A30 and One Shot Girl and the FaZe Boys. They put up 53.
Yeah.
I believe if it was 27-25, that's 52.
52,
They were
wow.
1 kill away from not just getting the solo kill record,
but also
also the entire team record in Friday Fortnite as well.
They would have tied it if that person would have fell.
That's what I'm saying. Whenever that happened, I was like, no. Like, they could have literally broken nearly 2 records in one game.
That's insane.
Unreal. Like, High Distortion, I was very excited to see his play. I wasn't really sure what to expect. I know he was kind of like around my power rankings as like a top 7, top 16, potentially around there. But, I mean, you want to talk about his play, man. I mean, he is unreal. And in Tilted Towers as well. He's 1v4ing teams, not just around the map, but in Tilted Towers of all places. He was dismantling teams. He was fully aware of what was happening at all times. Class act from High Distortion. All the credit to him, man.
Yeah, completely agree. I got to give a shout out to my boy Paul back home. He's been talking about High Distortion as the best player in the game since the very beginning. I mean, High Distortion making a statement right now on Friday Fortnite.
Absolutely.
It has been a pleasure to watch, but there's still a game 2 ahead of us. We can't get ahead of ourselves yet. High Distortion has a big task ahead of him, down by 2 kills to FaZe Clan, which is no easy feat.
And like I talked about before, it really comes down to Avxry kind of matching Cloakzy's play style and Cloakzy's skill. We saw Avxry drop a little bit early. Of course, that's tilted. Very volatile place. For High Distortion to make it out of it is just godly status, to be honest with you. But Avxry definitely has to step it up in this next game. Imagine if he was alive. But then again, would it have been the same? And that's the thing. We always call like, oh, imagine if his teammate was alive. Would High Distortion have been as aggressive? That's the thing. We don't know. Would he have found as many engagements? Would he have made the pushes he made? It happened exactly how it should have happened.
Butterfly effect, right? You don't know what's going to happen. But I think High Distortion would have been more aggressive. But I think that goes to show, too, that the importance of splitting in this game mode. High Distortion did all that by himself. If Avxry's with him, they get the same amount of kills. Maybe Avxry picks up a few of the kills instead, but there's no reason to stay together if players like High Distortion, Ninja, Tfue can do what they do as individuals. So
here we go.
We'll see what they do in game number 2.
Oh, boy.
Second game, 27-25. Tfue and Cloakzy against Avxry and High Distortion. This is the second game. This is grand finals. $7,000 minimum. Whoever takes over this victory, who loses will be moving down to the loser bracket. And a big round, as we see now, FaZe is going to be just outside. It looks like, outside of Salty Springs. And looking at Avxry and High Distortion, they're going to the residential side of retail, or just outside of retail, which is a spot we've seen. But great 8. I'm not against any of these spots for either which team.
Yep, on board with HD at the bottom right. You see him getting a green AR early, popping a shield. A little bit of a passive start for both of these teams. It's all going to be about the rotation over to Salty Springs and to Retail Row after they get looted up just a bit.
All right, well, just taking it a little bit slow. They're going to be kitting up, getting those resources, getting the weapons in their back pocket for the inventory. And I do expect, or at least I expected to see kind of the beginning of this to be a little bit slower. But Tfue's already in the action with that revolver in his back pocket, or excuse me, that pistol in his back pocket. Picking up some
range?
Hey, look. Hey, listen. Anything in Tfue's hands is going to be deadly, and that range just comes to showcase how accurate Tfue really is, but he's got to watch out. He's getting tagged up from the back. Him getting dropped this early would be detrimental to the team. He's definitely got to pick it up at this point. Cloakzy's going to be joining him in the back, and both inventories not looking too hot. In fact, Tfue's been hitting all those shots, but he's been running out of ammunition. He doesn't have too much, and these teams are still pushing.
Oh, he's going to get tagged up. All of his shields gone in that moment. Of course, the slurp tree is still ticking for him, but Cloakzy should be able to wrap up some of these kills here, doing a great job of exactly that, working the wide left angle, and that's one thing you don't talk about often, is the importance of getting angles in Fortnite, working wide left, working wide right, and you see Cloakzy do it perfectly there.
Absolutely the case. And, of course, now on board with Cloakzy Screen, taking down enemies as per usual, right? We talked about the amount of kills in the first game. The amount of potential for the second game is nearly just as high as well. I mean, we talked about the original play. Obviously, the landing zones now making their way in toward Dusty Divot. Like, that's what I like to call it, man, the interstate of Fortnite. You can really choose where you like to go. Of course, based on the circle, right? But based off Dusty Divot, you have so many different opportunities to make obviously certain location spots, but it looks like a nice play there coming in from Avxry in our top right. Of course, not really normally going to see too many players in that kind of middle building in Dusty Divot for the most part, especially at times like this. But where the zone is at currently, kind of playing that gatekeeping role, is not too untypical. But nice plays coming in from Avxry there as he picks up a casual 2 frags.
Yeah, this is going to come down to the wire here. 1 kill lead for FaZe right now as they were up 2 kills coming into game number 2. But High Distortion and Avxry leading 5. Actually, no, I believe it's tied right now. Yes, it is. Sorry, tied right now in game number 2. 2 kill lead for FaZe still going in game number 2 as HD and Avxry really are going to have to break away here with a solid rotation.
I got to say, I absolutely don't mind Avxry and High Distortion being where they are at this point, because Tfue and Cloakzy, their natural rotation at this point is in fact going to be down in Dusty Divot. So they may pick up some kills, which they have been inside of Salty Springs. They'll pick up some loot, but they're not going to pick up any more kills because Avxry and High Distortion's already cleaned up Dusty Divot. So at this point, Avxry, High Distortion, they get the kills where FaZe is going to be rotating to, and on top of that, they're also going to get a head start into the circle, or at least on the edge of the circle, to pick up even more kills where FaZe is going to be lacking. So a lot of potential here for more kills in Avxry and High Distortion's favor. FaZe, they might get some more, like I said, but it's going to slow down as the match is going to continue on.
Yeah, I was happy about both teams' landing spots overall, just based off of what really was that cataclysmic first game in general, but a nice knockdown coming in from Tfue quickly, the nice little edit along with the official elimination, of course, the knockdown deems the fact there is at least one more team remaining when it comes into Salty Springs, but like I said, overall pretty happy about the landing spots, nothing too aggressive, pretty much stay in their play. That's what you want to see after a very heavy-hitting game number 1.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Only down by 2 kills. There's no reason to drop tilted, and that's why I think you saw Avxry and HD made the decision not to go tilted, that they favored the last two games that they've played. And as you see right now, the Salty Springs rotation, HD and Avxry rotating towards Loot Lake and towards Tilted. So they're going to push the west side of the map and are going to be looking for some frags in that area, as no one on either team has been able to kind of claim that spot just yet.
One frag lead for the men of FaZe, Tfue, and Cloaksy. Avxry and Distortion has been closing it out quite well. They just got a nice kill overall, but like I said, their vantage point where they're at is going to pay off. I think in the end, they're making their way over towards Loot Lake, as we're going to see FaZe kind of trying to make their way over, but they're not going to find as many engagements, at least in my opinion. I don't think they will, but then again, I've been wrong all the time, so that's okay. We'll see if FaZe will be able to find it. But,
buddy.
hey, you know what? I can't, because it's true. All right, but we do see an engagement on Distortion stream. It's going to be over at the middle building of Loot Lake. Of course, he can't really push that. He'll try to get some dings with the hunting rifle, and he does, in fact, get a ding. Can he get the second to finish off? Just missing by a hair, but that's okay. They're going to be actually pursuing this, and I absolutely agree with that. They've got to start going for these kills. They've got to start thirsting them. They're only a kill down. They've got to make sure they get every single possible kill they can, but pretty low on mats. So if they do get in a build war, I'm kind of a little bit worried for Distortion, but he can make it out of it.
And I never really thought about this, but I think really having a sniper rifle around the outskirts of Loot Lake is such a nice thing to have. Kind of long-range weapons in general.
Sure.
Reason being, we talk about how difficult it is to obviously build in the water, along with the fact of how slow players are if they don't have builds as well. That's exactly what you want to have if you're a sniper player, the ability to have a guy who's not moving too much and doesn't have the ability to build. That's a dream scenario for a long-range weapon. But kind of going along with that, I think based off of both of our teams, we talk about how similar they are regarding their kills, regarding play styles at times as well. I think it's kind of fair to say Avxry kind of plays a little bit like a Cloaksy regarding kind of playing a little bit second fiddle, not the fastest player, especially when you got a guy like Tfue and or Distortion on your team. Both guys who are fantastic builders, guys who can kind of hang out from a long range. Then you also compare Distortion to Tfue, up in your face, aggressors, the great line sights, great editing, kind of quick on their feet kind of play style. I think regarding both of our teams, these could be kind of the most similar pair that we have in the entire tournament.
Yeah, and Landon, that's a great point. I think one thing that's understated in Fortnite is the importance of roles. Very similar to old school competitive Halo. You have support players, you have slayers, you have individuals that fill different roles based on different weapons that they're great at. And I think that you see the same in Fortnite. Cloaksy being a little bit more of a support player. Obviously, everyone needs to be able to turn up when it matters the most. As now HD in a pretty tough spot here. We've seen this happen time and time again. HD going to take out one, still manages to stay alive, only 29 HP, and he does it. Avxry comes in for the save as well. Not over yet, as this squad is still alive somewhere. They have someone lurking. He has to be careful.
I talked about it. Avxry needed to step up, and my boy has 4 kills in his back pocket, plus 5 with Distortion, 9 total kills. Looking at it, and then we have a total of 8 on the left. So still, with that knock, though, if he gets the thirst, it will, in fact, be a tied up ball game. You talk about coming down to just the last amount of frags. That's exactly what we're seeing as kills are going down. Both sides, definitely one of the most highly contested games we have seen so far yet tonight. Loving what I'm seeing overall, and I'm liking what I'm seeing from Avxry. He needed to step up, and he does so. Do I spot a player coming in with the jump head? Yes, I do. And look at this. They're going to collapse down on that guy, and it should be an easy kill as Avxry gets it. Gets the elimination. That puts him now at a total of 11 on the right. On the left, we're looking at, 8 kills. So we finally have a lead takeover for Avxry and Distortion.
And one thing I'm always worrying about is like what those guys are thinking about when they're coming into this game. Like, oh yeah, like my teammates are probably already following. Like, hey guys, I'm gonna carry the load. I'm gonna bring it back. There's 20.
Talking about the random opponents.
Yeah. And it's just like, what are they thinking in that situation? Like, whenever they have no idea that Avxry and Distortion are in a game, but to potentially get to face off for $17,000. Some of the best players in the world are in your lobby right now, buddy.
Yeah. And that's a great. If you look at the top right of your screen, that's a great pickup for Avxry and HD. As in the storm, they're able to knock 2 who otherwise would have just probably died to storm damage. So great pickup by HD and Avxry. I will say Tfue and Cloaksy in a more favorable spot and Tilted in terms of getting kills, but Avxry and HD are doing just such a good job spotting out every single member on that northwest side of the map. Great plays from HD and Avxry here, and we have ourselves a great game in our hands. Only 21 left in the lobby.
And they're going to be on opposite sides. You're going to notice that. So really it's going to come down to RNG. Who's going to find the last remaining frags first? At this point, as we see, they're both going to be breaking out of the storm. But Avxry and Distortion, just noticed when they pulled up that minimap, they have quite a few miles, at least. I don't know how far, at least whenever
Fortnite miles, I like that.
Fortnite miles to travel whenever it comes to getting inside that circle. But so does Tfue and Cloaksy. Yeah. As you see them, they're going to be crossing the river. Looks like they'll be trying to make their way into the storm. But 37-38 FaZe, 1 kill down. As you see, a little kill lead coming in from Avxry and High Distortion. I mean, got to say, loving what I'm seeing.
And I got to point out, too, I know I've been talking about their similarities between these two teams, but after 7 weeks, I have not really been able to watch a team really kind of play the same strategy as FaZe to take them out, which is just consistent play through in and throughout, having some moments where you go to high priority areas and just succeeding. There isn't really many teams who have that same kind of DNA. And Avxry and High Distortion, like I said, are playing at that exact style. They're going multiple locations and having success. Like we said, we've seen TSM squads. We've seen some good moments from like Vixstar and Tinny. They've had some good tournaments. And I'm not hating on TSM by any means. I think they've had a different strategies to take down FaZe. But for a team to kind of play the same strategy and to have as much success, if not more, than them, this is unheard of. Like, this is unbelievable to see that Avxry and High Distortion come back, right, from the deficit that they were at. Avxry dropping early, they still finish off with 25-plus kills. They head into map number 2. They're at 13. We see FaZe right now at 10. They are hanging with them and taking over the typical FaZe strat, which is having success in different areas. And like I said, succeeding when the time calls for it. All the credit to Avxry and High Distortion. I am beyond impressed by this duo, and I hope they continue to play in our Friday Fortnite tournaments.
Yep, I couldn't agree more with that sentiment. I mean, great rotations, great drops. They've done so many things well, as actually they spotted someone behind them, but they want to not flirt with that storm. They want to obviously make a mental note of the fact that there's a team behind them, while also finding another team to fight, because this is going to come down to the wire. One of the best Friday Fortnite matches I've had a chance to watch and just enjoy, as it is a one-kill game right now with 19 people left in the lobby. It is going to come down to the wire. Avxry and HD up by 1, with Cloakzy and Tfue trailing and hungry for a win.
Mind you, this is literally all because High Distortion picked off 24 kills in the first round to keep Avxry and High Distortion alive. So got to give them props for that. And if they win this, I mean, High Distortion definitely has earned a spot in Friday Fortnite. It already has. What am I talking about? But here we are. FaZe looked like they were in a little fight there, and I do believe they picked off one player to put them at 10 overall. No, they didn't pick up a player. I don't know where those players went, but we are going to see that the storm is in fact going to be collapsing down. Look at the amount of frags left. We only have 14 remaining, and we only still have a 1-kill lead for Avxry and High Distortion. We do see Tfue on your screen with that scope. He's going to be knocking these two players in front of him, but Avxry and High Distortion, are they going to try and collapse down? And still, they're on different ends of the circle.
And one thing that I want to point out, when it comes down to late game, Tfue and Cloakzy are fantastic when it comes down to their vision. They're on the call, kind of plays. They're quick communication to each other to find out where these kind of final squads are. They are one of the best teams in the world at doing this, and I'm curious to see, with a little bit of a deficit that they have, what Avxry and High Distortion vend to do. Whether or not they're going to play up to that same pace, if they're going to try to challenge alongside FaZe, or go their opposite ways. It seems as if for right now, FaZe might have the advantage with the initial shots coming in this current squad engagement.
Yep, and here's where it gets really interesting, because they're going to merge fights right now, so it's a matter of who can pick up the last kills. HD is going to do exactly that by knocking 2, advancing that lead to 3 kills. Cloakzy picks up 1, so in the end, I believe it is a 3-kill lead for High Distortion and Avxry. HD in a 1 versus 4 with Tfue and Cloakzy in the area is able to pick up 3 of those kills. What a performance from HD.
Yeah, this is exactly how I wanted the ending to be. I wanted both teams to meet up at the end and fight for the frags left and right. We see a jump pad coming in, and all players using the same jump pad to kind of get in on the action. Absolutely don't blame them. As we do see High Distortion, he's going to be searching back and forth, going through, but we see Avxry. Is Avxry going to be in a fight himself, or is he, he's trying to make up to that?
Yeah, he's a little delayed.
So he's a little bit delayed. Was that High Distortion using his own jump pad to get to another one?
It was.
He just used the same one over again? Yeah, this is what I love to see, and this is something that we haven't seen anyone else do. A lot of teams, whenever they get versus FaZe, we actually see an engagement right now with Tfue and Cloakzy, as I believe they do find at least 2 in that position. So obviously getting closer to diminishing that deficit. But what a lot of teams don't do in this position is do what FaZe does. They kind of challenge throughout the map. A lot of teams will stick around them. What High Distortion doing is fantastic. Finding squads, using the exact same jump pad, and trying to initiate that fight just as much as FaZe is.
Yeah, and what HD did right there is interesting. Rather than going to the fight that Tfue and Cloakzy were at, he actually left that fight and found a different squad, because he's just trying to secure some kills here. He's no health right now, no shields. And it's not looking good. HD's going to lay down some traps, trying to stay alive here. Can he do it? Can he build? He's out of mats momentarily. He's going to go down. It is all up to Avxry now, as HD and Avxry, with a few kill lead, loses their star player. HD is going to be bled out here momentarily, and it is all up to Avxry. Can Avxry do what his teammate did just 1 game ago? Can he clutch up?
Well, we see him spotting a player just ahead. He has to go big. Does he connect? He does not, as now we finally see he's going to be dropped on the screen, but Cloakzy picking up some loot. Tfue in a fight as well, and he picks up 2 players himself, and that might cement the win, as we see on Tifu's screen. There's only two players remaining.
FaZe was down, so they find two. I believe we're either at a tie ball game or it is FaZe who are
Avxry
right on the edges. But Avxry might have just pulled off one of the biggest kill steals in a long time.
No, this is the oh no, he got the knock. He did get the knock.
Wow. So he does,
and he got an elimination.
What? So yeah,
so
Avxry's screen is a little bit delayed compared to Tifu. So in that situation,
FaZe Cloaksy got the last 2 kills, I believe.
Wow.
This is what I love about Friday Fortnite. Everyone's trying to add up everything, and we don't even know who the victors are.
Unbelievable.
There are still 2 players up. This could be the deciding factor. I know FaZe right now are adding the Victory Royale comes through, and I believe that should be in FaZe's favor because of what Cloaksy does here at the end.
Let's look at Cloaksy's reaction here. Then again, this is the wrong person to look at
Get
reaction.
the calculators out, boys.
This guy literally never has any emotion. I just got to tell you, from any Friday Fortnite we've been watching, we look at Cloaksy, whether he wins or loses. He doesn't. But I don't know what grabbing the mouth means. Cloaksy, give me something, please. Tell me who took. Well, actually, let me.
Avxry looks stressed too. What is going on right now?
I think they might have lost. I think Avxry and High Distortion might have lost. But we're talking about a mere 1 or 2 kills as now we have production adding up the kills. But wow, what a phenomenal job from both teams. I told you I wanted Avxry to step up, and he absolutely did, and he played phenomenally well. High Distortion getting dropped, unfortunately. And if they do lose by a couple of kills, High Distortion's got to be hurting after that because that literally would have cemented their win. And here's the final score: 45-42. FaZe will be moving on to the finals to try and cement a 3rd Friday Fortnite victory. They've already have 2 going for the 3rd, and this is not the 3rd time they've been in the finals. $7,000 already to their names.
I gotta ask.
What a play!
Do you think at this point High Distortion's like, yep, there goes my keyboard? Like I've done it to a controller in the past. Loses by 3 kills, 24 in game 1.
Yeah, unbelievable. And here's the thing. Hat goes off to FaZe. Such a consistent performance always, but High Distortion with a hero performance. He cannot be disappointed at all. Making history in Friday Fortnite. His first time playing a great game 2. He went down because he had to push that squad, that 1v3, 1v4 against the squad. Unfortunately, Avxry wasn't there to support or to get close to that fight, but he cannot hang his head. High Distortion, an amazing performance, and they still have the losers bracket to fight through.
High Distortion, Avxry, they performed exceptionally well. Avxry stepped it up just like I wanted them to do, and I got to tell you, hats off.